the White House picked a deep Wall Street insider to regulate Wall Street. So get this, President Donald Trump's choice to lead a key bank regulation agency spent the first half of this decade running a bank that illegally foreclosed on hundreds of thousands of Americans, often using forged and fraudulent documents. In 2013, halfway through Joseph Otting's time running One West Bank, Otting purchased a Las Vegas resort lifestyle home with a heated pool, double doors forged with iron and glass, professional-grade theater, and far-reaching views of both the golf course and the mountains for more than $2 million. Today, as he awaits confirmation to lead the office of the Comptroller of the Currency, the house stands as a monument to the money he made from pushing people out of their homes. So, One West Bank, for those of you who don't know about it, actually, you may have heard me reference it before, and I was likely referencing it because Steve Mnuchin, the Goldman Sachs lackey, who's now the Treasury Secretary, he also was in a key position, a top position. I think he ran One West Bank, and there were a lot of scandals surrounding One West Bank because during the height of the subprime mortgage crisis and the Great Recession, they were foreclosing on people left and right, but they were violating proper legal protocol in doing so to try to kick people out faster. And what they would do is they would do robo-signing. So you're supposed to go over each and every foreclosure to make sure the details are right and you're doing the right thing. But what these guys would do is they would have their signatures, in a stamp, and they just stamp everything with it. And they had to admit to the wrongdoing in court. So what we have here is basically a systemic or automated process whereby they kick people out of their houses before they're allowed to do so. So there's like a waiting period you have to go through to give people the time to pay the backed bills. But these people they would say at One West Bank, yeah, we're just going to basically skip that. And they literally kicked like grandmas and grandpas out of their house. And they did it early. And they did it sometimes over tiny discrepancies in payments. So the people who are now in charge of running the economy are people who ruined the economy in the first place and then gleefully profited from destroying people's lives. So this is the fox guarding the henhouse 101. I mean, this is Donald Trump saying, okay, let me take a wolf and have them run Wall Street. Regulate Wall Street, I should say. Let me take somebody who was on the opposite side of that equation their entire career, and they were the ones who cared about profit and cared about padding the bottom line. They have no skill set to, crack down on the people who are doing what they used to do, nor the will to do it, but they say, okay, go ahead, you're going to be in charge here. This is a classic right-wing move. It's like when they put somebody from the oil industry in charge of, or in a high position in the EPA. They're not doing that because the people have job experience and they're now ready to crack down on their buddies who they used to work with. No, they're put in that position precisely to let industry get away with whatever the hell they want to get away with. And guess what? You don't think this is going to lead to further problems? I mean, what's going to happen is the same thing that happened in the lead up to the 2008 subprime mortgage crisis and Great Recession, is you have effectively no regulation. You have an anarcho-capitalist market, and you're going to have speculation out the wazoo. You're going to have all this malinvestment in the economy. You're going to have another boom-bust cycle like we've seen over and over and over when you deregulate and cut taxes for the rich. And we're going to be right back in a position like we were in 1929 with the stock market crash and 2008 with the subprime mortgage crisis and the Great Recession. I mean, the formula is pretty clear. Cut taxes for the rich, deregulate, everything takes off, and everybody thinks, oh, look, things are going well. Maybe it'll stay like this forever. Oh, shit, there was a giant crash and the money and the growth was fake. So, and when you put people from Wall Street in these positions to regulate Wall Street, they're not going to do that, and then you're only speeding up the process. The idea that, well, come on, these guys are the smartest guys in the room, and that's why you let them do whatever they want without having these stupid, dumbass regulators get in the way. That's not true. How many times have we seen that when you leave them on their own, all they're going to do is try to make as much money for their companies as possible, and they don't care about the long-term viability of the economy. It's how much can they make in the short run, how much can they get in the short run, and damn the consequences. They don't care about their clients. They don't care about the long-term viability of the economy. And we saw this specifically with Goldman Sachs. And again, Steve Mnuchin went from Goldman Sachs to One West Bank, where they had fraud as a business model. Remember when Bernie used to say that on the campaign trail? He said it because he was specifically really referencing Goldman Sachs. They would tell their customers, oh yeah, don't worry. If you invest in these mortgage packages, you're going to make a lot of money. Now, those mortgage packages were the subprime mortgage packages. They were wrongly portrayed as like AAA rated or something, which, by the way, they bought the fucking ratings agencies in order to get that. So it's another piece of the corrupt pie here. And they would sell it as if they're good, and then they turn around and bet on the packages they just sold to fail. So they make money two ways. One by pretending the package is good, one by saying, I bet this is going to fail eventually. And then they get rich as a result of it. And then nobody goes to prison at the end of it. You pay a little fine and you run out the back door with still a net profit. So the people who, I mean, these are people who should be in fucking jail, man, if you really think about it, because when you have somebody who, you know, goes and robs $400 from a cash register at a liquor store or something, they throw the book at those people. But when you're responsible for pushing shitty products that you know will fail, fraud on a massive scale, and you're responsible for foreclosing on people wrongly and kicking them out of their house when it's not the time where they are supposed to be kicked out of their house, how is that not a bigger crime? How does that not merit time behind bars? But no, the people who do that because they paid their bribes to the government, they get to have leadership positions in the government. Now they're in charge of regulating. Oh, man. This is so bad. So if you thought, remember when Trump said, the forgotten man and woman will never be forgotten again. This is exactly what that is. You're not only are you forgetting them, you're spitting in their eye. Because you're letting Wall Street go right back to the same old tricks that they were doing. And you're going to crash the economy in the long term. But also, you've just given up the whole point of the regulatory body. The whole point of regulatory government agencies is to make sure that there isn't abuse, rigging, corruption, screwing over of the little guy. But you're 100% in favor of doing that. And in fact, you want to take that shitty system and put it on steroids. Make America great again, my ass.